a WikiVidi documentaries production. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Enjoy. Music of Austin, Texas. Music of Austin, Texas. Austin's official motto is the live music capital of the world, because on any given night, one can find over 100 venues showcasing a wide variety of free live music performances. Austin is also famed for the SXSW and the Austin City Limits music festivals, which showcase an eclectic array of live musical talent from across the globe. The greatest concentration of music venues in Austin are located around 6th Street, the Warehouse District, Downtown, Central East Austin, South Congress, the Red River District, the University of Texas, South Lamar, and South Austin. The modern definition of Austin music emerged in 1972 when a new form of country music exploded on the scene that turned its back on Nashville and embraced the counterculture. Eddie Wilson had opened the Armadillo World Headquarters music venue in 1970, which drew large crowds to alternating country and rock music shows. But it was 1972 when a minimally successful Willie Nelson left Nashville once and for all and moved to Austin, joining several other talented nonconformists and recent transplants including Michael Murphy, Marcia Ball, Steve Earle, Gary P. Nunn, Jerry Jeff Walker, Ray Wylie Hubbard, Waylon Jennings and others. Willie grew his hair long and figured out how to bring the hippies and the rednecks together. His audiences at the Armadillo began to cross-pollinate, and what resulted was a scene that no one had ever seen before. On New Year's Eve, Austin's local Coke.fm radio station switched to a new format geared to the mixed crowds first called country rock, and later progressive country. By November of that year, the first pilot for the iconic Austin City Limits was being filmed, with Willie. Billboard magazine named Coke the most innovative radio station in the country. And Austin had a national reputation thanks largely to the reporting of Rolling Stone stringer Chet Flippo, who seemed to get a dispatch from the Armadillo into every issue. Austin became renowned for nurturing talented musicians who did not fit the mold anywhere else, and were drawn in by the creative vibe, liberal politics, and the low cost of living in what was then a laid-back capital city whose largest employers were the University of Texas and state government. Austin's reputation continued to grow and become celebrated for its folk, blues, jazz, bluegrass, Tejano, Zydeco, new wave, punk, and indie music scenes. The city also supports two orchestras, the Austin Symphony and Austin Civic Orchestras, as well as the Austin Opera and the Austin Baroque Orchestra, and La Folie Austin Baroque. History. A large portion of Austin's early musical heritage began in the German beer gardens and halls in the late 1800s, in places such as Skolsgarden and Hall, and further up the road at Dessau Hall. Dessau Hall peaked in the 1940s and 1950s with acts as diverse as Glenn Miller, Hank Williams, and Elvis Presley. Other major venues for country music included Big Gills on South Congress and the Skyline on North Lamar. Local singer-slash-yodeler Kenny Threadgill opened Threadgills in 1933 on North Lamar, a venue that later hosted folk/country jams where Janis Joplin participated in her early days. On the African-American east side of town, other music venues such as the Victory Grill, Charlie's Playhouse, Big Mary's, Ernie's Chicken Shack, and Doris Miller Auditorium featured local and touring acts. These destinations, which were part of the Chitlin Circuit, featuring big bands, jazz and blues, became famous for later hosting musical legends including Duke Ellington, Ray Charles, Bobby Bland, B.B. King, Ike Turner, and Tina Turner. In 1964, the Broken Spoke opened featuring country acts such as Bob Wills, Ernest Tubb, and the young Willie Nelson. The late 1960s and 1970s saw the country music popularized by Willie Nelson and others, being joined by a host of other music brought by the more liberal inhabitants who migrated to Austin during these 2 decades. Specifically, Rocky Erickson and his 13th Floor Elevators helped bring in this psychedelic era. Austin was home to the Vulcan Gas Company that featured headliners such as the 13th Floor Elevators, Winter Brothers, and Shivers Headband. The Vulcan morphed into the Armadillo World Headquarters in 1970 and for more than 10 years featured music of all genres, from Bruce Springsteen to Bette Midler, as well as local ballet, blues and jazz. The artwork from this establishment was a part of the Austin scene, and the armadillo became the Austin city animal. Songs such as Gary P. Nunn's London Homesick Blues made this a staple of Austin. The artist who began the armadillo logo was Jim Franklin, who is still working today. In the following years, Austin gained a reputation as a place where struggling musicians could launch their careers in front of receptive audiences, at informal live venues. A major influence during this time was Clifford Antone, and the namesake blues club he founded in 1975, at the age of 25. Antone's, located on Austin's 6th Street, fostered the careers of a number of musicians, including Stevie Ray Vaughan. Liberty Lunch was a live music venue in Austin, and during its heyday in the late 1970s and 1980s featured all kinds of music, including reggae and ska, punk, indie, country and rock. The venue was forced to close to make way for Austin's downtown redevelopment in the late 1990s. Since then, Liberty Lunch has attained a legendary status in the history of Austin music. Now defunct Armadillo World Headquarters has attained a similar status. Austin's live music scene has experienced a resurgence in the past few years after losing some of its best-loved venues. A host of new clubs have risen up to continue Austin's rich live music heritage. However, the Hole in the Wall, opened since 1974 and a live music staple that lent a corner and then finally a stage to Doug Zahm and Blaze Foley, is still operating. Places such as the Skylark Lounge, Stubbs, Guinea's Little Longhorn, and a list of others have also become a stalwart of a new generation of live music venues throughout the city. The punk/new wave era in Austin began in earnest in 1978. The club's foot played an important role in hosting many of the local punk/new wave acts. The city's first two rock/new wave bands, the Skunks and the Violators, made their debut at a university area club called Rules in February. The explosive show by the Sex Pistols in San Antonio the previous month helped build toward an excited reception for local purveyors of the style. The Skunks lineup consisted of Jesse Sublet on bass and vocals, Eddie Munoz on guitar and Bill Blackman on drums. The Violators featured Kathy Valentine, Carla Olson, Marilyn Dean and Sublet on bass. The Violators were short-lived, as all the members except for Sublet moved to LA the following year. Margaret Moser, of the Austin Chronicle, later wrote that, "The Skunks put Austin on the rock and roll map." Another influential band that led the punk scene in Austin was the Big Boys. Austin became one of the important stops on every tour of important punk/new wave acts. Many of these bands, such as The Police, Joe Jackson, Blondie and Talking Heads, played at the Armadillo. A number of them, including The Clash, Elvis Costello, and Blondie, would make appearances at gigs by the Skunks and take the opportunity to jam with the band. The 1980s and 1990s also helped shape Austin's music scene. Waterloo Records, which has been voted the best independent record store in the country and hosts live-in-store shows, first opened in 1982. Austinite Stevie Ray Vaughan won a Grammy in 1990 for Best Contemporary Blues Album. After tragically dying in a helicopter crash, he was memorialized with a statue on the shores of Austin's Lady Bird Lake. Additionally, in 1991, Austin city leaders named Austin the live music capital of the world because of the number of live music venues, visitors, and Austinites alike may notice the 10-foot guitars standing on the sides of the city's streets. In 2006, Gibson Guitar brought Guitar Town to Austin, placing 35 of these giant guitars around the city. The Austin Music Foundation is one of several Austin groups that help independent artists further their music careers. Assisting musicians with medical needs are the Sims Foundation and Health Alliance for Austin Musicians. Promotion, preservation and education is the mission of the Austin Blues Society, formed in 2006 by Kaz Kazanoff and other blues community notables. Helping to promote the $1 billion music industry in the city is the Austin Music Office, a department of the Austin Convention and Visitors Bureau. The Austin Music Office offers creative, personalized assistance in booking live music, discounted Austin compilation CDs and mini guides to the city's live music scene, assistance with utilization of live music venues for off-site events, and guidance with local music attractions and creation of music tours. Television. The PBS live music television show Austin City Limits began in 1974 and has featured over 500 artists of various genres, including rock, folk, country, bluegrass and zydeco, part responsible for Austin's reputation as a live music hub. The show is broadcast worldwide and stands as the longest-running music television program ever. On February 26, 2011, ACL held its first taping in its new purpose-built Moody Theater and Studio in downtown Austin's W Austin Hotel and Residences. Despite a seating capacity of over 2,700, audiences will be limited to around 800. The additional seating capacity will be used for the ACL live concert series at the venue. Austin was also home to the Austin Music Network, which broadcast from 1994 to 2005. AMN, featured on cable channel 15, proclaimed itself to be the only non-profit independent music television channel, and its programming was mostly music videos or recorded live sessions, interspersed with presenters. Although all musical tastes were broadcast, AMN emphasized non-mainstream music such as indie, punk, blues, country and jazz. Channel 15 was a 24-hour music channel now run by Music and Entertainment Television. ME launched October 1, 2005 and was broadcast to Austin and the 44 surrounding cities. ME was a regional network dedicated to showcasing and providing television exposure for regional artists as well as the hundreds of touring groups that make up the vibrant Texas live music scene. Supporting established artists and promoting and discovering new talent is a priority. ME represented different musical genres and areas of the arts community with numerous original programs highlighting everything from filmmakers to art galleries, and musicians to the ballet. In addition, ME's mostly music lineup spotlighted live performance footage, concept music videos as well as biographies, reviews, restaurant tours and more. Blues. There is also a history of blues music, which developed by the 1950s in the Negro District of East Austin. It was one of several places on the Chitlin Circuit. One of the earliest venues which used desegregation was Charlie's Playhouse in East Austin, and further desegregation occurred there as time passed. Barry Shank, a cultural scholar, stated that the white and black blues scenes in Austin remained distinct, but that the black one influenced the white one. By 2012 the blues culture became racially integrated and spread outwards from East Austin. Festivals. Austin is the home of South by Southwest, an annual film, music and interactive conference and festival, and the expanding number of fringe events that take place during the festival, at venues all over town. In the fall, Austin hosts the Austin City Limits Music Festival and the Fun Fest. In the spring, the long-running Old Settlers Music Festival takes place at the Salt Lick Pavilion and Camp Ben McCulloch just outside the city. Every summer, local businesses put on a series of free blues shows in Zilker Park entitled Blues on the Green. Also in the summer, the City of Austin Parks and Recreation Department holds the Hillside Summer Concert Series Music Festival throughout the month of July. This is held at the Pan American Recreation Center. This festival features popular local and national Tejano and Latin music performer Jason Rubio, of Austin's Best DJs, was the first DJ to perform at the festival. In 2014, numerous other music festivals occur year-round. Other annual festivals include the Keep Austin Weird Festival and the Heart of Texas Quadruple Bypass Music Festival aka the Texas Rock Fest. Austin is home to other large annual festivals including venues: the Austin Chronicle, Austin Convention and Visitors Bureau. Do 512 and Phosphine Productions offer information on the most common venues that host local bands. Below is a short list of notable venues. In addition to the usual restaurant/bar venues listed above, Austin offers live music in unexpected places as well. These unique venues include musical acts. Austin musicians who previously contributed to the Austin music scene. Deceased Austin musicians include the Austin Music Memorial at the Joe And Teresa Long Center honors those who have contributed to the development of the Austin music community. Brought to you by WikiVidi Documentaries. Would you like to know more?